In this next mini lecture, we're going to look at some other components of crafting your marketing message. We're going to be looking specifically at the message task, and we're also going to be looking at the engagement types that you can aim for with your messaging. So it's really important when we're looking at crafting the message, there are several steps. Once we've understood the consumer or the audience, and once we've understood what value we're actually trying to provide for the audience, we then need to look at what specific task does this message have, and what type of engagement are we trying to foster through this message. So I've asked in class before, and I'm really pleased that you've all fed back to me that you're familiar with the drip marketing message. Now, sometimes I do find students get a little bit confused and think that one message has to do all of these different things, all 4 different things. They believe that one message has to, at the same time, persuade, inform, reinforce, and differentiate. That is not the case. A message should be doing 1, maybe 2 of these things. Occasionally you will find a message that can do all effectively, but again, there are different times in the customer journey when you're going to want to be doing different tasks. So if it's the first time somebody's heard about the issue or heard about your charity or your organization, you might need to inform them. You try to persuade them too early on, and that communication might be ineffective because they haven't gathered enough information. Likewise, if you are in a very competitive landscape and your audience is at the stage of their decision making where they're comparing alternatives and they're evaluating different offerings, that's when it's very important to differentiate yourselves, to have those sorts of messages. So we need to think about the appropriate task for a message relating to the customer's journey. So as mentioned, to differentiate yourself, or to have a message that differentiates your brand or your organization, it's a message that positions you as being different to competitors. So that could be better, superior, having a different offering, or providing different types of value. To reinforce is something that quite often mostly big brands spend their money on. So for example, there's a little clip here with a Virgin Atlantic commercial showing sort of just not talking about anything, their prices, they're not talking about particularly the quality of their service. This particular advertisement is just reinforcing sort of their brand and who they are, because they have that brand recognition already. You'll quite often see this with big companies like Coca-Cola and Pepsi. We all know that Coca-Cola and Pepsi make brown, sweet, carbonated drinks. And you can get a huge variety of brown, sweet, carbonated drinks from own brands, from supermarkets, etc. So why should you pay more for Coke or for Pepsi? Well, Coke and Pepsi will need to reinforce why they are superior, why they are the brand that's associated with fun and concerts and good times and things like that. It's necessary for them to maintain that position front of mind, and for us to think of them first, and to be prepared to spend extra money. So they're reinforcing their brand. Informational messages, or messages that seek to inform, they can seek to inform you about the brand's existence if the audience hasn't heard of you, if perhaps you're targeting new customers, or perhaps you need to inform them of the products and services, what they do, the benefits and the value that they provide. Finally, when we have an established audience, an audience that perhaps are following us, subscribing to us, perhaps they've engaged with us and downloaded some brochures or signed up for an email, at some point we're going to want to persuade them to take the next step. So that could be signing up to attend an event, it could be donating, it could be subscribing, it could be volunteering, it could be a number of things. But occasionally you will have messages with a specific task of persuading people. So there's also a specific engagement desire that we should have for each message. So this is the key part of marketing communications. So marketing communications should either seek to engage our audience in 1 or 2 ways. We should either be trying to change the way they think and feel and create brand values, or we should be trying to change the way they behave, so provoke behavior and getting them to do something. So in terms of creating brand values, we might want to change the way they think about us. We might want them to trust us, like us, etc. In terms of changing how people behave, we might want them to buy from us, or we might want them to open or subscribe for an email or visit our website. So the types of companies and products quite often will have to undertake different types of messaging strategy depending on what product they sell. So you'll quite often find with perfume brands, luxury brands, they have a lot of communication that's specifically about changing the way we think or feel about them. For their brand to continue being a luxury brand or to be able to charge the price they do for their perfume, we need to hold them in high esteem. We need to have positive associations of a particular lifestyle or luxury or aspiration in order for us to be willing to pay that extra money and to regard them the way we do. So quite often the marketing messages by luxury brands, by perfumes and such products are about changing the way we think and feel and creating those sort of brand values. This is a great example. I think I've used it before in class. Looking at the marketing image, initially you may think, oh, perhaps it's for a luxury coffee brand. Perhaps it's for a luxury chocolate brand, Ferrero Rocher, or something, we have an attractive lady styled in a sort of evening attire, and eventually your eye may be drawn to the purple oven in the background. Now the purple oven is an Aga oven. These ovens are traditionally found in old sort of country houses and can have a kind of or have had a bit of an image problem of being associated with a very rural country Wellington boots and thatched roof type lifestyle. So this particular marketing communication is trying to change the way we think and feel about Aga and seeing it as part of a modern luxury lifestyle. So there's no information given on this particular advertisement. There's no call to action trying to get us to do something and change our behaviour and buy it. This particular communication is purely about changing the way we think and the way we feel about this particular brand and this particular sort of product the brand provides. These are two examples of campaigns aimed at changing behaviour. One, the first one, which with the young man being injured in the back of a car, is a government advertisement, a public service advertisement, encouraging people to wear their seatbelt. It's a short and quite horrific video of a family leaving the house to do the school run, and the son does not wear his seatbelt, and that results in him hitting the back, when the car crashes, hitting the back of his mother's head. And it's quite a tragic and shocking and hard-hitting video, but the idea is to get people to change their behaviour and to start wearing seatbelts. The second image is a corporate image, so it's from a brand that are selling mouthwash, and again it's quite a hard-hitting image. A woman comes home from a night out, she takes out her hair extensions, she takes off her false eyelashes, she wipes off her makeup, and then finally she removes a false tooth. And it's quite hard-hitting, it's unexpected, but they're trying to get you to do two things: change your behaviour, which is to use mouthwash regularly, and to buy their mouthwash. So both of these campaigns are specifically trying to change behaviour. So just to recap, there are two main engagement types that we can aim, or we can categorise the engagement that we want into two areas, either thinking and feeling or doing. So in terms of thinking and feeling, the first time somebody becomes aware of our brand or our organisation, they will have an awareness. They'll suddenly know who we are, that we exist. Hopefully they'll retain that information. Once they're aware of us, we can then try to move them up using this Keller's brand pyramid towards loyalty and attachment and engagement. And we go through different stages. So we need them to first of all be aware of us. Then we need the audience to form an image of us, so to have an idea about us, to perhaps like us, understand us. And then we want to kind of stimulate feelings, those thinking and feeling responses. So perhaps to see us as fun or exciting or providing some level of security. So once we've stimulated that engagement and we've stimulated those feelings about us, we can then seek to develop a relationship where people might prefer us, choose us, stay loyal to us, or engage with us in our community. So we need to go through, or Keller argues that we need to go through these stages in turn, and this can help us in turn plan our communication. In terms of provoking behaviour, engagement and doing, today in the digital online world, and in this particular module, social media, we've got a lot of what we call call to actions, CTAs. So when we're creating a message for our social media marketing campaign, it's quite often appropriate to have some sort of call to action to inspire the audience, the recipient of the message, to do something. So whether we want them to come, watch a webinar, sign up for an email, visit the website, subscribe to our channel, etc., etc., what are we asking them to do? They've seen the message, they've taken the time and the trouble to stop, to engage, to listen, or to watch. Then what? So again, an important component and an important way to provoke the doing response is to actually put a call to action on your messaging. So in summary, every message should have a task or perhaps tasks. So you need to think carefully about why you're communicating. If you're not, then you are just making noise. You're just churning out communication for the sake of trying to be heard, but you're not doing it with intention and you're not doing it with clear planning. Every message needs to provoke some sort of engagement, whether you're asking someone to do something or whether you're just trying to change the way they think and feel about you, your brand, your organization, and create some brand values. So hopefully this mini lecture was interesting and informative and has given you something that you can apply to your messaging planning.